I do talk to, in this job, titans of industry, president of Blackstone, CEO of the investment bank Jefferies, top bankers at Goldman and Morgan Stanley. That is part of the job. And to be honest, I could just make that my job and just write whatever they say and just write about, so-and-so said this. And that might have some value in the economy of news, because these people don't, especially at that level, they don't really go out of their way to be deceptive. There is an apprehension. Most people don't want to tell me everything that's going on, right? Like, there is no desire to tell a financial reporter, this is everything we're going through, this is everything we're really doing, because most people don't want their private information aired in the public discourse. My job then is to say, okay, so we're hearing these kinds of statements, and you can learn a lot by listening to CEOs and thought leaders and getting their advice. But at the same time, we see that this is happening. Perfect example. Let's take the junior bankers. So early on, when I came to covering Wall Street, a lot of Wall Street leaders from across the industry would say to me, we're so focused on mentorship. We're so focused on diversity and equity and inclusion. And we're so focused on supporting the younger generation of talent. So then I would go and talk to these younger people in the industry, often anonymously, because there's a lot of danger to them if they are really seen to be speaking to a report and they're quoted by name. There's no danger if they're anonymous, but if we use their name, they could really lose their job. And I would hear a very different picture. So it's my job to say, all right, we have essentially two camps of people. One camp may think that they're really listening to young people. The other camp feels that they're not being heard. Where is the truth here? Where is the overlap? And then that's where the great stories emerge. So the story about burnout, if we had only asked Wall Street leaders, we're hearing or we're seeing signs that your junior staff is struggling, they'd say, yeah, we hear them and we're taking steps to support them and everybody's doing great. If we didn't put pressure on this camp of leadership by talking to these junior people, I don't think their experience would have changed very materially. So we're always going up against people who don't want to tell us everything going on, but we have to be the sentinels. Our service that we're selling a service, we're selling news, accurate, nutrient dense, genuine news, not fake news, well-sourced news from multiple sources that we fact check, that we know when we hit publish, it's true. That's the product we're selling. So in order to do that, we have to push harder. We have to report harder. If there is a barrier in our way, we have to be creative enough to figure out how to overcome it and then expose the real issue and put it on display and hope that in doing so, we can do two things. One, act as sentinels and inform people what's happening. And two, in a roundabout way, even though we're really agnostic and don't have an opinion on these things, act as a change maker. The one opinion we do take is if we see wrongdoing, we want to call it out so it can be fixed, it can be improved upon. The court of public opinion can respond. So if we can display issues that are problems, you get the knock-on effects that I was saying, the banks talking about instituting mental health first aider program, paying differently. That is a direct result of journalists going out and exposing information that are uncomfortable for people. So that is really the heart of what we do. And I would say this is one of the tougher beats to do it on, because there's so much at risk in finance. Trust me, if every Wall Street deal maker could snap their fingers and make journalists disappear and go focus on something else, I'm quite sure they would. But it's our job to be tough and to overcome and to report as hard as we can.